What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. And in this video, first of all, I want to give a shout out to two YouTubers. First of all, I'll give a shout out to Tiki TV. He's the one that put out this story regarding, I think it's the Express, talking about LeBron James's injury or an injury update. Maybe it's a more specific term. And I want to give a shout out to Karceno. Karceno's a guy who I've been critical of in the past, or I don't want to say critical, but whenever he talked about basketball, I've been a guy that's responded to him several times. But Karceno, and I do remember this, Karceno did make a video where he stated that his sources told him that LeBron James had a sports hernia. And when all the mainstream media outlets have been saying that it was just a groin injury. And I remember hearing it, and I was just thinking, well, maybe the sources are wrong or whatever. But if these latest stories, these latest news reports are true, then Karceno deserves unbelievable respect for having that information out there that early, having that accurate information out there early. Shout out to Tiki TV again. Subscribe to his channel. He was talking about his own experience dealing with a hernia. And basically a hernia is when your intestines actually begin to come out or seep through a tear opening through your abdominal wall. And there's different varying degrees of a hernia. I know Ticket TV says that his particular hernia was a bit more severe. And I think he said that he tried to play through the pain of it for about 2 months until it got too unbearable. And they had to make a long incision to correct the problem. And what can happen potentially with a hernia is if it goes untreated long enough, there's the potential. I'm going off memory here. I remember reading about hernia before. More and more just movement and what have you, gravity, more of the intestines can seep through. Now, I'm not trying to say it's going to be like a movie World War II where a guy gets shot in the stomach and his half his guts just hanging out of his body. But if more and more of your intestines start to seep through this a little bit more, I think it can, it can start to bind and wrap up. And Ticket talked about this. It can bind and wrap up, and I believe what can happen is if it wraps up enough, not only will that cause terrible pain, but I think if it wraps up to an extent, it can cut off the blood supply. It can affect your, how can I say this, your movements. And if it cuts off the blood supply, basically that part of your intestines would eventually die. And you can pretty much just go with that and see how serious that could be, okay? I don't think that happens most of the time, because I think usually the pain that you have from dealing with that initial hernia before it protrudes that far is enough to send most people to the hospital. But if that is the case, if that is what's going on with LeBron James, then the Lakers are in serious problems, serious jeopardy as far as the season's concerned. Because if it was just a groin injury, then LeBron James, like Ticket said, would be back. Shoot, what was I hearing earlier? Like maybe soon, because the injury was like 2 weeks ago, right? Maybe within another week or so. But if if these reports are true, and if it is a groin injury, not groin injury, if it's a sports hernia that he's dealing with, and then I'm seeing some reports saying that those who are close to LeBron James, I'm guessing medical personnel, are saying that he should have surgery, but he's resisting the option for surgery. Then if that's the case, he's hoping that he can have this thing heal on its own. And what I've been reading about that ever since I watched Ticket's video is that this type of injury can heal potentially, especially if it's not as severe as a tear as other hernias, but it's a type of injury that can linger for a very, very long time. And if that's the type of injury that LeBron James is going to be dealing with for several months, I mean, like potentially into next season, then it's going to affect his level of play. But Ticket TV was saying he's had this type of injury, so he should know. He said if these reports are true, then LeBron's going to be out a month. And if that's the case with the Lakers schedule, that might be potentially the death knell for any playoff hopes that they have. And more importantly than even that, and Ticket talked about this in his video, you have to wonder if this injury is the first signs of LeBron maybe potentially having injury issues as he goes on in his career. Because it does seem like a lot of times these guys are just going on a terrible tear, all right? And they stay healthy for a long time. And then they have this one significant injury that starts the process of a decline period. And I would hate to have that happen to LeBron James after having been one of the most healthiest players. I wouldn't say he's the healthiest. Some people in ESPN in sports say he has been the most. He replaced Karl Malone as the least injury-prone player in NBA history. I'm like, I don't know about that. I mean, to me, the guys that come up there on that list would be guys like AC Green, Elvin Hayes, Randy Brown, Dolph Schayes, and what have you. So, I don't know if I would put LeBron ahead of them, and then even Karl Malone before that last year with the Lakers. But if this is accurate, then that'll be a terrible blow for the Lakers if LeBron James actually has a hernia rather than a groin injury. I don't know. Like, hopefully, that report isn't true, but it would explain some things. It would explain why LeBron, like basically, it's been 2 weeks since an injury, and you don't really hear any reports about LeBron James making serious progress. So that would kind of explain it a little bit. Wow, man, that's true. Then the Lakers' playoff hopes are done. But tell me what you guys think, man, in the comments below, man.